What's my cue?
Hey bestie, it's Katie Wasserman. I am a mom, an esthetician, the owner of Flagstaff Skincare Med Spa, and Prickly Bear Skincare, a post-hair removal line. I started Beauty Talk Confessions because honestly, I got tired of how fake the beauty industry can feel. The conversations that happen between wax strips, peels, and facials that no one ever talks about publicly, we are gonna go there. So grab your coffee, get comfy, and let's peel back the layers, one confession at a time. Welcome to Beauty Talk Confessions, where the secrets come out and the glow gets real. I'm Katie Wasserman, and I'm here today with Angela. Angela is widely known as the Christian Sexpert. She is a sex and intimacy coach, and she is very widely known for work around challenging shame, stereotypes, and unrealistic beauty standards in the Christian spaces. Thank you so much for being on my show today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Angela, I would love to know, we were just chatting, and I would love for you to share a little bit more about your story and how you found your way to become the Christian Sexpert, which is such a fun name, and I can't wait to hear how you got that name.
Yeah, absolutely. So, very, very long story short, if you guys want more details, like they can listen to the first episode of my podcast. But after I had my son, I joined an international online women's ministry, and I was getting tagged into conversations about sex and intimacy because of the wisdom I brought to the conversations. I have degrees in religion and psychology. And one of my friends one day said, tagging Angela, the group Sexpert. And I was on the leadership team for the ministry, and, in our group chat, somebody was like, Angela, that should be your TikTok handle. And I was like, yeah, okay. But I ran over, I was like, I'm going to reserve this because maybe someday I'll do something with this. And through a kind of convoluted series of things, I started a TikTok channel and started posting. And I have raging ADHD. And so I thought the dopamine is going to wear off in like 2 weeks, whatever. But that didn't happen. I started my TikTok account in late January of, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years ago. I don't even know at this point. And by Easter of that year, I had gone viral with a video at over 5 million views.
Oh my gosh.
And it turns out that there's a lot of both Christians and people who would term themselves ex-evangelicals who are really desperate for faith-based, or at least non-pornography-based, factual, science-backed sex education, right? Because I do have a lot of people who follow me, not because they're Christians, but because I'm woman positive, sex positive. I'm centering, the female experience in sex when for so many years it's been the male experience that has been the main topic of conversation, and they can trust that, they're not going to encounter porn or nudity or anything like that in my content. So I have a wide appeal, not just to evangelical spaces.
Oh, that's amazing. So everything started for you basically with the TikTok, and it was just this idea, but it's continued, that's amazing.
Yes,
that's so fun that it hooked you.
I mean, I guess you could say things got pretty serious.
That's so fun. Well, and it's great to be in a space where you showed up how you wanted to, and you had that response, which is really exciting, and able to actually speak what you wanted to speak.
Yeah. I kind of joke that I thought that I was just going to get on the internet and talk about vibrators.
Oh my gosh.
But now I'm like, I spend the majority of my time talking about like super deep theological issues, like the misinterpretation and misapplication of scripture used to abuse women sexually.
Yeah.
And so my work can actually get super heavy and really difficult. It's a lot to carry sometimes. But I really when I started doing this, I was like, I'm going to get online and I'm going to talk about how it's okay for Christian women to use vibrators. It's fine. And now I'm debating, Chad about whether his wife has the right to say no to sex whenever he wants.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. And the empowerment that is, just to be able to talk about that and give someone that comfort and that permission that they can actually say that.
Yeah, for
Because,
sure.
ugh,
I have had coaching clients show up, and I try to screen my clients because what I do is coaching. I don't do therapy. And sometimes people come to me thinking they need coaching when in reality they really need a therapist. And so I
yes.
try to screen my clients fairly strictly, but sometimes somebody will sneak through and I get into a session. I'm like, oh, this you you need therapy. But I had a client sneak through one time, and I said, well, what happens when you say no to his advances? And she says, I I don't do that.
Oh my.
Am I am I allowed? I didn't think I was allowed to do that. I thought the Bible said that I couldn't say no to him. And it was a really hard conversation. But I actually turns out her husband had a pornography addiction, and I have I have several therapists that I have close relationships with that I refer people out to, and this couple, her husband actually started seeing one of my therapist colleagues,
Oh, good.
and I just heard that he's been seeing him for over a year, and they're in a much better place now.
Oh, that's so
Um,
amazing.
yeah, so even and not every story turns out like that.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it is telling women that they need to prioritize their safety
Yes.
above everything else. Sometimes it is, you know, telling a woman, girl, you just need a vibrator. Like, it's okay. Like, here, I have an assortment in my drawer. Let me pull them out and show them to you, and let's pick one for you to order, right?
Yes.
Those are the things I love.
Yes. Oh,
That
I love it.
those are like my little like sweet treats after having to explain to some women that yes, you can say no to sex.
Yes.
That is an option that you have.
Do you find with your work that seen you've seen a variety of women. Do you find that you've seen some women that have to work through the comfortability of just even being intimate with themselves and finding that peace and that that's okay to have that experience?
That's that's a tightrope for me to walk, right?
Yeah.
Because I am coming at things from an evangelical biblical point of view. And so what I teach women is that the Bible does not address self-touch,
Okay.
because we don't have any scriptures that specifically address that in the Bible. But it does address lust. So is this something that you can do without lusting? And my two of the big pillars of my work are consent and um, personal conviction. And
Okay.
so when I'm working with a woman of faith, I will tell her, hey, like, I'm not going to tell you whether this is acceptable for you or not.
Yes.
You need to pray about this and talk about this with God. But, um, I explained there's no scripture specifically addressing this. And we have scientific studies that tell us that women who do engage in self-touch have higher sexual and marital satisfaction than women who do not engage in self-touch. And so there are ways that, and also like there's ways that you can engage with it if you feel like for you, that isn't something that you should be doing in order to honor your faith, right? So you can do side by side self exploration with your husband in the same bed, and you're still self exploring, you're still learning what feels good, but he's still right there with you. And it's not something that you're doing in secret or away. And
Yeah.
so that is sort of like a case by case individual personal conviction thing for a lot of clients.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that.
A lot of my work is highly nuanced.
Yeah. Well, and I love the highly nuanced and the empowerment. And I'm really connected with that because I see in the beauty industry as a waxer, having clients that you can kind of tell that this isn't something that they want to do. And I'm very empowered about empowering women and males that if they don't want to wax a certain area, if they don't want to have this service, we don't have to do it. But it should all be about confidence and that self-worth and feeling good about yourself. And no one should feel forced or that they have to do something like that. And so that's something that it goes so deep, and you deal with it on such a deeper level. Mine's kind of the surface where it's beautified, but it still comes out in that area, and you can still see it in some of these services.
I can imagine there's a lot of, even just thinking about if I was dealing with that public, like that sort of issue of waxing or not on my public platforms. I know that I would get comments from people saying that, well, where are you getting this idea that you should wax? It's from pornography, like we don't have to look like little girls, right? And then there are some women, um, there's a lot of reasons that what I do is very unique in the space that I'm in.
Yeah.
I am one of the only creators that I'm aware of who talks about the intersection of Christianity, sexuality, and disability,
Okay.
and including neurodivergence. And so the flip side of not everything is the result of porn, right? There are some women who have really massive sensory issues with body hair, and
Yeah.
just like they cannot stand the feel of their own body hair. And so waxing for them is a really valid choice that has nothing to do with her husband wants her to look like a little girl or anything like that. Um, and so just off the top of my head, I can imagine these sort of conflicts that come up for waxing. Just that one would inspire a lot of fights on my content, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Everything does.
yeah. I can only imagine. Well, and being in the industry that I've been in I've done it for about 15 years, and I've mastered in waxing, and I've done male and females, and I've had people all the time ask just every question you can possibly ask. And they're like, oh, why do you do this? And there's been times I contemplated, I'm like, why am I doing this? And then I really came to terms with it where I love creating that inner glow and that inner peace that people have and seeing someone light up. And in my career that I've had, I've seen so many different demographics and different religions. And I've had some clients that have come in with complete head covers and they're not able to show their skin, but they're having to do it because of, like you said, some sensory issue, or even sometimes there's bacterial issues that people will have. And so it's really cool to be that space and to feel comfortable. And I've loved it where I'm like, okay, this person has only been seen by their doctor or their partner, and we're able to be that space. And how cool is that to be comfortable and have people be that comfortable? And I feel like you, in a way, are able to open up people that way as well when you talk to them and have them come home, but then find that inner peace and they're feeling confident enough to explore other things.
Yeah. I had another creator friend, like we're legitimately friends offline. We're both creators with platforms. We've met and hung out in real life, but she texted me yesterday and she's like, TMI, but blah, blah, blah. And I was like, there's no TMI in my world. There is no TMI that can possibly exist in my world. I had a coaching client a few weeks ago, and she's like, she was struggling to orgasm with her husband, and she's like, it only happens in one specific position, and it's so weird, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and she built it up like before she even tells me. And I'm like, what are you doing? Are you like, can you only orgasm if you're like suspended upside down from your ceiling fan while it's rotating? Like, what is the deal here? And she's like, no, it's this. And she describes it, and I'm like, all of that drama for something that probably at least a quarter of women have to do that in order to orgasm, and you're being this dramatic about it, babe. Like, this is far from the most dramatic thing that I'm going to hear today, let alone this week.
Oh my God. Wanted to build it up like that too, and you're like, this is normal, this is fine.
Right. And people get so in their heads about it. They think that they are the only one with these experiences.
Yes.
Right. And I'm like, no, this is so common. Like, I wish that you could understand this is not a big deal. It doesn't matter. Like, there's no TMI in my world. And also, I have never had a client ask a question or describe something to me that shocked me.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Aside from when it's the hard, like my husband's raping me, like that's a different, but that's not the sort of shock that I'm referring to, right?
Yeah.
I always those messages are always like, okay, let's, we're not going to be talking about fuzzy handcuffs with this one.
Yeah.
But like so I think people need to be encouraged that when you have someone who works in an intimate space, whether it's, intimate like what you do or intimate like what I do, we've heard it and seen it all. There is
Yeah.
nothing that's going to shock us.
No. And we're there for it. You can ask really any questions, and it's the best when it's that friendship and you're like my best friend. Like, I don't even care.
Yeah.
I've done it all. I've seen it all.
Absolutely.
I love that. So with all the women that you work with and having sex be the focus, where do you find that appearance and beauty is kind of part of this role that people are going through this journey?
Oh my gosh. So I was doing a podcast with my friend Goody Howard, who is another sex educator.
Okay.
She is also a fat woman. So if you are listening to this and you don't see the video, I am a fat, middle-aged Midwestern woman, homeschool mom, right? I spend the majority of my life in sweats and graphic t-shirts with my hair in a mom bun and no makeup because for the majority of my day, I'm homeschool mom, right? But Goody said something in the episode, I don't even remember what we were talking about, but she said, sex is a beauty brand. And it was like, yes, it is. Because I have to, when I show up on my social media or podcasts or with clients or anything like that, I have to show up as the Christian Sexpert.
Yes.
I cannot show up as Angela homeschool mom.
Yeah.
Because people do not take me seriously if I don't show up with my hair done and my makeup done and, my cute tops and things like that. And the fact that, like, even still, like, again, if you're listening to this episode, I'm wearing a pink fuzzy cardigan. I look like a single librarian with 3 cats at home. I understand that.
You look adorable, though. I love your glasses.
Thank you. The glasses are part of the brand at this point.
Yeah.
But people expect sex educators to look a certain way. And I think that part of the reason that I have such a successful platform and following is because I'm not a 20-year-old blonde telling people how to have sex.
Yes. Yeah.
I am a fat Midwestern homeschool mom who's been married for over 20 years, who knows that sometimes you're just too tired to have sex. Who knows that sometimes there's no money or time for a babysitter and date night. And I can talk and I'm more relatable in that. But also, I still have to show up looking a certain way. And even then, because I am in evangelical spaces, I get pushback if I don't show up looking like the Christian Sexpert and I show up looking like homeschool mom. And I get pushback if I show up looking like the Christian Sexpert. So I have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which means my joints don't stay in their assigned seats. So I have to wear ring splints on my fingers in order to maintain functionality in my hands with a minimal amount of pain. Before I got my ring splints, I was waking up unable to even pick up a cup of coffee because of the pain in my hands.
Oh my gosh.
I had a woman say that I was a Jezebel spirit because of all of my jewelry.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
And I'm
gosh.
like, ma'am, these are medical devices. And she doubled down, arguing with both. And I texted my best friend screenshots of her comments, and my best friend said, hold my Starbucks, and proceeded to lay into her. And she continued to double down. And she's like, well, you don't have to wear them all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Can you
Who
imagine
said that?
telling some random person on my YouTube? Can you imagine going up to a wheelchair user in real life and telling them, you don't need to use that wheelchair all the time. Get up and walk.
Oh my gosh. Shame
Like
on her. Yeah, no, not
these
acceptable.
look like rings, but they're medical device. And because I was wearing my ring splints in this video, that's what she focused on and called me Jezebel.
Oh my gosh.
I have people. I had someone earlier this week say that I should not be calling myself a Christian because I'm showing my body online.
Oh,
Like,
just
what
that.
part of my body do you see?
Oh my
The
gosh.
inch of my where my sweater is not covering, where my
Yeah.
necklace sits? Like,
Yes.
what?
And I say that's an extension of your neck, especially applying
Yeah,
sunscreen. It's like your face is just all the way to the
right.
top of your bosom.
Right. And then I make men really angry because I say your wife is not obligated to have sex with you whenever you want it, right?
Yeah.
And so because they don't have anything useful to contribute to argue, they have no logic. They just get mad. They're like, well,
Yeah.
you're a fat cow. Yeah,
Mm.
I have a mirror. I'm fat.
Oh,
This is not news. You don't think that this is the insult that you think this is.
ugh. People are.
And
Yeah.
so like all of these things are contributing to like all of these different facets of my appearance are being critiqued and commented on constantly.
Yeah. And people's expectations of how you should show up for something that they aren't even creating. You're creating it. So it's so
Right.
interesting to see that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Um I joke and say if I'm not getting called Jezebel at least once a week, I'm not doing my job. So
oh my gosh.
there's that.
Well, now I feel like after that, it's like a goal. You're like, oh my gosh, really? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
And also, like, if you're gonna comment and call me fat, yeah, water's wet. Okay. Are you that lazy that you can't come up with anything else to comment?
oh my gosh.
This has more of a commentary about you than it is me. What
Yeah.
really is amusing to me is when people are like, how can you be out here talking about sex? You don't know anything about sex. No one's ever effed you.
Oh my gosh. That's so
Because
messed up.
fat people don't have sex.
Ugh.
Fat people have lots of sex.
Yes.
I've been married for over 20 years and I have biological children.
Yes.
So there is sex happening.
Yes. Well, and these people that are commenting on it, I feel like they're obviously not out there having a great relationship with themselves, but then
Right.
like how are they having that with even the same sex or the opposite sex if that's how they're going to look at the world and talk about people and like you don't love yourself, you're not going to love others either.
Right.
Ugh.
What kills me is I expect the comments from the men. It
Yeah.
grieves me when it's the women
Yeah.
that are making comments on my body because that just tells me that you don't feel good in your body.
No.
And you should. Even
Yeah.
if you're fat, you deserve to feel good in your body. You deserve good sex, no matter your size.
Yeah. And you deserve to say good things about yourself and fill
Mhm.
yourself with good love, not toxicity that all that's going to do is just eventually come out to everybody else. Ugh.
For sure. Agreed. Yes.
Yes. Well, and so you mainly work with women. Do you find, I guess, where's my question once? It just was in my brain and then it went completely south. Give me a moment. I apologize.
Girl, it is my brain 24/7.
Well, and then the mom brain is like, I feel like I'm a squirrel at different times, like a dog,
Mhm.
like was just doing
Yep.
your scroll. But then it's like, okay, where was that thought? And I'll be in the shower. And
Yep.
then it's like, there you are. Why did you wait until I was in the shower to come out?
Okay, so two things. Put a smart home device in your bathroom, and then when
Okay.
you're in the shower, you can shout at the device and be like, "Hey, robot,
Oh my
add
God.
this to my content idea list," or
Oh,
whatever.
that's such a good
Um,
idea.
the other thing is get bath crayons. So I
Mm.
recommend, I don't know if you'll keep this in the episode or not, but bath crayons are my number one suggestion for bridal showers
Okay.
because they invite play, they invite fun. So you can take a shower with your spouse and draw on each other. But also, they're
That's so
great for
cute.
mom brain when you're in the shower and you need to remember something, then you can just write it on the wall of your shower with the bath crayon.
Oh my gosh,
You
so
can
smart.
literally write it on the shower and it wipes right off because it's just soap.
Oh my gosh, I definitely need to get that. We haven't done bath crayons with my little one, but we've done these like really obnoxious like spray foam color
yes.
things. Yeah.
You know what the foam soap is good for, don't you?
Yes. What?
It's really good for a hand job.
Oh, I love that. That's the thickness of it. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's a really unique sensory experience for him.
Oh, this is a good Christmas list shopping
It
idea
is.
for people.
You know, I have every Christmas I put out a spicy gifts idea list in my Patreon community. And on that list every single year is bath crayons.
Oh my gosh.
Because they're like such an accessible, especially if somebody's uncomfortable like buying a vibrator for the first time. It's
Yeah.
bath crayons. You can put it in your Target order and they just think you have a kid at home.
Yeah,
Right?
you're not gonna feel embarrassed about it.
Right. And it's such like a gateway into
Yeah.
spicy accessories.
That sounds amazing. That's so much fun. I love that. So I guess that thought went out of my brain. I'm gonna just leave that one to the side. It'll probably come back. But you're talking a lot about your appearance and how it plays a role as a sex expert. And so with how you've shown up and the audience that you've created, you obviously have built a name for yourself. And so at this point, do you feel like you could show up as that mom at home and people would still be kind of following along, or do you enjoy having this? Yeah, okay, I love it.
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
at this point, I have created a brand sort of image, right? And I think it would I would anticipate more comments on my appearance that are only distracting from the points I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Right. I, in fact, just last week, I had recorded a video where I was shredding chicken.
Oh my gosh.
I was standing at my counter shredding a rotisserie chicken. Right.
Okay.
I think I had recorded content that day, so I think I still had a full face of makeup on. But somebody commented and they were like, "Why are you shredding chicken?" for this conversation. And the video was about this man who just remembering what this video was about. This man had complained that his wife did not get instantly turned on when she saw him naked.
Oh.
And how can I culturally train her to be turned on when she sees me naked?
Ew.
And I started the video and I said respectfully, ew.
Yeah.
And disrespectfully, ew.
Yeah.
And so that was the context of the video. But I'm
Yeah.
shredding, trying to shred chicken. And this woman's like, "Why are you shredding chicken?" And I'm like, because I'm like, other creators do things all the time on camera while
Yeah.
talking about other things. Like, why is this a problem for you? And she's like,
Yeah.
it just seems like that isn't something that you should be doing for this particular conversation.
Oh my gosh.
And so
That's so interesting. Chicken was triggering.
like, why?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I do on occasion post something where, like I'm in my pajamas or I don't have my makeup on or whatever. And invariably, I get comments that are distracting from my goals. And, the creator part of my brain says engagement is engagement.
Yeah.
And it is. But also at a certain point, it becomes a distraction.
Totally. And especially when you're trying to voice such an amazing point and you want people to hear that and you're like, okay, completely missed that. Let's kind of now redirect that.
Yeah. I don't want people talking about my appearance. Like they already talked about my appearance enough in my comment section. Like,
Yeah.
let's discuss my ideas. Let's discuss what I'm trying to teach you.
Yeah. And let's focus on that and hear me. Don't see me that way.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it sounds like appearance definitely has played a huge role in what you've been doing and building this brand. And I would like to know, really, at this point, do you feel like the expectations that women come to you seeing who you are, do you feel like it allows them to open up and find their inner beauty and start to just be comfortable wearing makeup and showing up in a different way because they see you, who is so beautiful and so confident in yourself, showing up that way?
For sure. I definitely, a large part of what I do in my content is talking about like body confidence
Uh-huh.
and kind of I know all of the different arguments for and against like body neutrality, body positivity, blah blah blah. And like I don't know if I fall in one particular camp on that.
Yeah.
But my thing is like you deserve to enjoy the fullness of your sexual expression no matter what size your body is. And so and the thing that like I really am careful about in my comment sections is um I have a policy of I don't let comments about my body go unaddressed. So I'm either deleting them or I'm responding to them. Because I don't want another, and it's not because I care what these trolls think about my body.
Yeah.
Literally, like I said, I'm fat, water's wet. I know. Okay. I am completely comfortable in my body. And people have no idea why I'm fat. You know, fat phobia is one of the last remaining acceptable prejudices in America. And the absolute hate and vitriol that fat creators get and the discrimination that we
Yeah.
receive is unreal. And people are not always fat because they're lazy. Often there are underlying health issues that you don't have any knowledge about.
Yeah.
And my point is, I don't let those comments go unaddressed because I don't want the women who follow me because they identify with me as a fat, middle-aged homeschool mom to see those hateful comments and think that that's acceptable and to internalize the hate from those comments. I
Yeah.
want them to know that they have a right to stand up for themselves. They have a right to stand up against body shaming in any
Definitely.
form. And they have a right to be a fully sexual person, even if they're fat, right? Because fat people are not viewed as sexual at all in society. Fat men or women are not like viewed as sexual. There's no, it's sort of, how do I want to put that? It's just, you're fat. Oh, you can't be sexual. No one wants you because you're fat, right?
Yeah.
No one wants to have sex with you. And that's not true. There, you know, I have to say my husband loves my soul. He met me when I was fat. He married me when I was fat. This is not something like a new revelation. He has always desired my body from day one. And so just because the typical narrative is that fat people are not sexual, I'm trying to be part of that change in
Yeah.
accepting that. One of my friends is her brand is Boudoir by Raw. She's a Christian boudoir photographer in, I think, Houston or Dallas. I get the Texas cities mixed up. She's in Texas for sure. But she is also another fat woman, Christian, out here talking about healthy sexuality. And she giggles when we talk about this a little bit because she's like, I think the men who are in our comment sections saying hateful things really just have an attraction to fat women and feel ashamed of that because society tells them that they should not be attracted to fat women. And so they lash out because they have their own internal conflict about that.
I can see
Um,
that. Yeah.
And it was like, that is something I have not thought about, and you are spot on.
Yes. Well, especially with male behavior and just what we know with male behavior and how
Yeah,
it works. And then also a lot of it is coming back to just childhood and not being nurtured. And I feel like it's an interesting kind of perspective. And I don't know, with my kiddos, I try to just create self-love, but then I find myself at certain times being like too forward where I'm like, oh, that part of you is extra cute. And then I'm like, wait, maybe I shouldn't say that. And then I'm like, but mom's part is really cute. And so is this person. And I like regurgitate and I'm like, we all are beautiful. We love everything, but I want them to be confident in themselves. And I just find that they're so cute and it's so enjoyable to like see that. And I'm like, how can we continue that as we get older and we're beautiful? And even the things that we like love about little babies, like even a little skinny baby or a little chunky baby, like they're all just so adorable and so sweet. And as we get older, we're so beautiful and so unique. And if everyone was just this one type of person, life would be so boring to look at if you just, yeah, so obnoxious.
exactly. Exactly.
Ugh. Well, I find, and I don't know if you're experiencing this, but recently, I thought it was so beautiful. I recently had an employee that she was raised by a wonderful family and she moved here to Flagstaff. I'm in a college town and she was commenting about one of her roommates who was struggling. She had some eating issues. She was struggling with finding faith. This girl grew up, in Phoenix, but was in the Mormon religion. And so she kind of had her own struggles, but she came into work one day and she was commenting on this person just really bothering her because she kept asking her like, how do I look? How do I do this? And she retaliated with her back to her. She was like, I see you as who you are. Stop asking me if you look good in this because you look great. And if you don't feel good, you're not going to look good. And it was something I held on to because she was only 18. I'm like, wow, for you to have that perspective is so beautiful. I'm like, when I was younger, I did not have that perspective. I grew up on the East Coast and was taught to be embarrassed about other people's looks and opinion, like just judge people on that. And also, like you said, not learn more about people, just have it be this, I don't want to ask, it's uncomfortable, and now I'm going to judge it. And that was not, we definitely need to rechange that and rewrite that kind of narrative that people are having.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a balance between seeking validation through your appearance
Yes.
and wanting to know that your spouse finds you attractive. But then what I see most often with women is especially postpartum. They will come to me and they'll be like, what kind of lingerie can I get that's going to hide my rolls? Or,
Hmm.
you know, um, I have literally asked women before, they'll tell me, I'm so ugly now. And my husband says that he loves the way that I look, but I don't believe him. And I'm like, is he typically a liar?
Yes. Yes.
And they're like, no, he's never lied to me. Then why don't you believe him?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Why don't you believe him? Because this is a you issue.
Yes.
Because any man worth having sex with will absolutely idolize the fact that your body grew a human the size of a watermelon and then you shoved it out of your vaginal canal. And
Yes.
he should honor, and I don't say idolize in like the bad way,
Yeah.
I mean it in the cultural, oh, gorgeous, way. Um, People get so persnickety about my words. Um, and if he doesn't think that you are not the most gorgeous creature that he has ever laid eyes on him,
Yeah.
why are you having sex with him?
Yes. He watched you grow this baby and create one
Yes.
of his beings.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Like my husband thought that I was just the most amazing person on the face of the planet. Like I don't get it, because if he doesn't have a history of lying to you, why do you not believe him about this? That he still finds you gorgeous and attractive. And if he does have a history of lying to you, don't have sex with him.
Yes.
That's the bigger problem.
Yeah. Like
You're missing the
unfolding
plot
it.
either way, friend.
Yes. Well, and I find that interesting because I even see women in the waxing world that after having babies, which I've had babies, they come in, they're like, don't judge me. I've had 2 or 3 kids down there. And at the end of the day, it's like, okay, we're all weird. Everything's weird. A vagina is weird looking. A penis is weird looking. No matter if there was babies coming out of it or not, no matter if you gained or lost weight, like it's weird.
It like especially especially like penis. Like I made a video once where I was like, I know God has a sense of humor because penises are objectively silly looking.
Yes.
Like, at some point God was like, you know what? A penis. You know what's even funnier is he can twirl it around and go, it's a helicopter.
Oh my
Right?
gosh.
Like,
Yeah.
that's just proof to me that God has a sense of humor because objectively they're goofy.
Oh my gosh. Well, and then like some men I know like think like something like that is supposed to just immediately spark a
Oh, that's a
woman's
turn
brain,
on.
and they're like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
That's
how
like
did you
peak
know?
seduction for men, for some men.
Yes,
Yeah, I
you
know.
just did that. Thank you so much. So cool.
Yeah. No.
Oh my god.
That's one of my most popular videos was talking about boob honk is not peak seduction, and the
Oh
men who like think that it's peak seduction are the problem.
yeah. No. Honestly,
Don't do that.
I'm breastfeeding right now, and my
Oh yeah,
11-month
off
old.
limits.
Oh, so she's recently, it's been just so wonderful. Her new thing is to like almost she sees them, she grabs them, but then she'll kind of like basically, I don't really even know what's going on. And I was telling my mom, and she's like, well, she knows subconsciously. I'm like, yeah, but this doesn't feel good. So like whatever she's doing, like, yes, it does allow the milk to come, which my brain is like, why body is
Oh,
this what
she
she wants to
twiddling.
do? Yeah, she like honks, twiddles, pulls, pokes, and then so we're done, but she won't take a bottle. So I'm at the point where my mom's here for the next few weeks and we've been doing smoothies because I'm like, we're getting you off the boobs, girl. I can't do this anymore.
See, I nursed one of mine for 5.5 years.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing.
And I know I was lazy. I
Okay.
was like, I don't want to figure out how to put you to bed without nursing.
That's kind of where
So
I'm at right now. It's
like
easy.
it was just easier to keep nursing for
Yeah.
me personally.
But your poor
But there
body, that's
was
like,
yeah. My husband, nursing gave me sensory ick. And
okay.
so, I had to put the limit of, like nobody's touching anything here unless we're actively nursing,
Yeah.
right? Like nobody. And my husband was like, but I'm like, nope, nope.
Yeah.
Nobody, no touching zone.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. You just remind me one time, and I had a medical low supply, so I didn't make enough calories for him. That's a whole other topic, episode, podcast, whatever.
Yes.
But one time he was nursing and he was old enough to talk a little bit and was like, is there milk in there? Like, I don't remember what was happening, but I was like, what? Like, what's happening here? I was like, is there milk in there? And he goes, no, mommy.
Oh my
Like, I
gosh.
was the silliest person in the world. He goes, and I was like, well, what's in there? He goes, there's hugs in there. There's kisses in there.
Oh
And
my
I was like,
gosh.
okay, you can nurse until you're done.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh,
Yeah,
I love that.
that's one of my nursing stories.
No,
Completely
that's
unrelated
beautiful.
to the topic at hand.
Yes. Well, it is, but actually it kind of made me think of a question that I would love to know. Um, with your journey and people that you work with, have you worked with women? You obviously probably worked with women that are postpartum. And so something that I find even in my industry and myself is struggling to come back to like I feel good about myself during certain days, but then finding that balance where like is this body at certain times mine? It's the baby's, and then feeling like that ick value, like you were talking about, like when my husband does look at me or says certain things, it's like, don't even come near me. And so it's finding, I wonder, I don't know, could you take me down a little bit of that
Yeah.
journey? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we as a culture in modern America
Yeah.
do awful at postpartum.
Yes.
It's terrible.
It is.
And if we look at, again, I teach from a biblical framework. So if we look at historically what was happening in ancient Judaism, right? The ancient Judaic law told women that I want to say it's 60 days for a boy and 80 days for a girl. Their husbands were not allowed to touch them.
Yes.
Right. And so now in modern America, we have this completely made up 6-week thing where it's don't have sex for 6 weeks. People don't research. And so they don't realize that that is a completely arbitrary made up number.
Yes.
It really has nothing to do with anything. And so there are some women who are ready at 2 weeks postpartum.
Yeah.
And there are some women who are not ready until 6 months or a year postpartum.
Yeah.
And especially if you have a traumatic birth or you have postpartum issues, especially and part of the way that we are designed, especially if you are breastfeeding, the prolactin that is required to produce milk actively suppresses your sexual hormones. So it isn't just that you don't feel sexual. It is that you are fighting biology because your body, especially if you are breastfeeding, is designed to suppress those spicy hormones as a natural way to be a birth control sort of situation. Because think about what was happening in ancient Judaism. If the mother died, there was no formula, right? And so and we know scientifically that it can take up to 2 years to replenish all of the nutrients and vitamins in your body that pregnancy and breastfeeding take out of you.
Yes.
And so naturally suppressing your spicy hormones is a way to protect your body.
Yeah.
And protect also the nursing infant, right? And so we've completely lost the plot for postpartum in modern America.
Yeah.
And we try and treat women as individuals with this accessory of a baby.
Yeah.
When really the mother and child should be treated as a dyad until the infant weans or, is old enough that nursing really isn't as impactful in their lives anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And the natural age of weaning, if we look at ancient Judaism, was much closer to 5 or 7 than a year.
Yes.
And I want to be clear, I'm not shaming anyone who chooses to not breastfeed, who chooses to use formula, who chooses to wean at 6 months or a year or whatever. I don't know your life. I don't know what stress is, and I don't know how feeding your child is impacting your life. This is looking at what our bodies were designed to do. That's it. Just talking about the science of it. This is, I am not implying or trying to imply any judgment or emotions, people. And so, but the point is, we've lost all of that cultural knowledge that we once had. And we expect women, and then we have toxic evangelical messages like men need sex every 3 days. God created men to need sex every 3 days. And so if you don't give him enough sex, he'll cheat. He'll have a wandering eye. Oh, you guys are struggling postpartum? He's not supporting you. Are you giving him enough sex?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a week postpartum. Well, obviously you can't have intercourse, but you can give him a hand. Your mouth still works. These are all messages that I see repeated over and over again in evangelical spaces.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, God didn't create men to need sex every 3 days. No one explodes in a shower of semen if he's not getting an orgasm every 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay, that's simply not a scientific or biblically based fact.
No.
But if we look at design, you were designed to not have sex in specific periods of your life. And so if it takes you until a year postpartum for you to feel ready to have sex again, that's okay. And it is a variation of normal. Pressuring yourself or having your husband or your larger community pressure you to engage in sexual acts before you are ready is only going to make it worse in the long run.
Yeah.
And it's going to make it harder for you to want to have sex. in the long run. So remove all of the pressure, just exist. Learn how we as women, birth isn't just birthing a small human. You're birthing a mother as well.
Yes.
And people are like, "Oh yeah, it's your first baby." Okay. No, a new mother is birthed with every baby because she's never mothered 2 babies before.
No.
She's never mothered 5 babies before. She is rebirthed with every birth. And she has to discover who she is now and not try and figure out how to get back to who she was.
Yeah.
Because going backwards is not growth.
Yes. And finding that new identity and coming to terms with it.
Yeah,
That's beautiful,
absolutely.
though. I love that.
Yeah. One of my best friends is a traditional birth keeper.
Okay.
So
That's
very
amazing.
passionate about birth and postpartum issues as well.
Well, and I love that because I didn't even think that was going to be a direction our conversation was going to go in. But just with what you were saying and what I've seen and even just my own self at different times and how I feel, it's like finding that balance and finding beautiful again. And it's an interesting perspective because at times in my mothering states, I find I feel more at home and beautiful, but I am still breastfeeding. And then other times it's like, okay, I'm reconnecting and reforming that identity of who I'm now becoming.
Well, and to even bring it back to your niche, beauty standards.
Yeah.
Thinking about how women get so obsessed with what their stomach looks like after they give birth.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because this is another thing that we have lost as a society. You are not, there is this idea of maiden, mother, crone archetypes, right? When you are a maiden, yeah, it is a variation of normal for some girls to have completely flat stomachs.
Yes.
But biologically, after you give birth, you are supposed to have a pooch. You are supposed to. Your body is designed to do that, to be a soft place for your child and your baby to snuggle, to nurture, you are supposed to get softer as you age.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that you are letting yourself go or whatever.
Yeah.
Being soft is not the opposite of not strong. You can be strong and feel strong in your body and still have a soft pooch.
Yeah.
Because that's what your body is supposed to do.
Yes.
And so modern American beauty standards are trash and you should throw them out unless throw them out if they are causing harm in your life.
Yes. And causing you to feel scrambled. I totally agree.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Be who you are meant to be, not what the 20-year-old Instagram influencer says that you should be.
That's beautiful. Well, that kind of brings me to one of my last questions. So how you've been talking and you really have told me that you've defined beauty as interpersonal kind of definition, but as you've been going through the Sex Expert, do you feel like you've gotten a clear picture of how you want to voice beauty and how you want it to be defined for people?
I think I just said it. Has to be, beauty has to be what makes you feel beautiful.
Perfect.
And not what the influencers say makes you feel beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't even know what I am doing. I did a conference last year and I hired a stylist and I honestly kind of hated everything that because nothing felt like me.
Yeah.
But I also didn't want to go on stage in front of 40,000 women as a sex educator in my pink fuzzy cardigan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I wanted to show up a little more elevated. And I don't know how to do my makeup. I feel like the 5-year-old playing in mommy's makeup drawer every time I sit down to do my makeup as the Christian Sexpert, right? I don't know what I'm doing. And I feel like when it comes to like beauty standards and whatever, I'm just kind of making it up as I go along,
Yeah.
but it works because I'm confident in who I am on the inside.
Oh, I love that.
Right. And that's what like I really try to get my clients to understand is confidence is what's sexy. The lingerie, the makeup, the whatever, that's all window dressing.
Yes.
Right? It is the confidence in knowing who I am, what I stand for, and also like knowing my historical and theological facts. Like I am confident because I've been studying all of these things for so many years, right? And so if I wasn't confident in my theology, I wouldn't be able to show up the way that I do. If I wasn't confident in my identity and who I am, I wouldn't be able to show up the way I do. If I wasn't confident in my marriage, if I thought that my husband wasn't attracted to me because of my weight or my appearance, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to show up the same way. But I'm confident in all of those things. And that is more important than my pink fuzzy sweater.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Well, and what you're saying, I find it interesting going to these different events and putting makeup on. And I don't know if you've experienced this, but I've had my makeup done one time professionally for a boudoir photo shoot. And I was like expecting that I was going to come out and look this like amazing, sexy girl. And I did from afar. And then you got close and I felt like I was a transgender that was trying to be like on stage. And it was like, oh my gosh, is this like what is beautiful? And so I was this interesting perception. And then seeing the pictures, they were photographed great, and you needed that makeup to look that good. But then my memory, when I look back at those, I remember the transgender like look in the mirror and like, oh my gosh, am I on stage? What is going on? And so it's a funny conflict that I have with myself when I see these beautiful pictures.
Yeah, so my best friend actually insisted on hiring a makeup artist to do my makeup for the conference
Okay.
that I had just referenced. And definitely when she got done, I was like, okay, okay, it's a look. It's a
Yeah.
look. Um, but also in my previous life, before the Christian Sexpert, before kids, I did theater. I did a lot of theater. I was on the board of directors for my local community theater.
Okay.
And so I know the difference between everyday makeup and stage makeup. And I was
Yes.
going to be on a stage in front of 40,000 women. I needed stage makeup.
Okay.
And so it was definitely more heavy-handed than I would do personally.
You're like, oh,
Um, yeah. I mean, she was an excellent artist. This is no shade to the
yeah.
artist whatsoever. She was top tier. Like she was so good. But also I was wearing like a pink leather jacket and a black tutu.
Oh my gosh.
So
Finding that balance.
yeah,
Oh.
whereas it wasn't my, cat lady library and cardigan. So the whole thing was just a little like, okay, we got to figure out if I'm doing this again, I got to figure out something. If there is anybody out there, I am always open to bartering services. So if you are listening to this and you're like, Angela, I can teach you how to do your makeup, or let me fix your hair, or I could be a stylist for you, hey, slide into my DMs.
Yes.
'Cause clearly I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, no, you do. Your makeup looks so good. But I love that. You're like,
Thanks.
I am willing to take any information.
I will barter services. I have no problem with that.
Oh, I love
Because
that.
you have knowledge I don't have, and I have knowledge you don't have. Let's figure this out together.
Yes. Oh, well, and that's great to be a team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, women supporting women.
Yes. To feel good about each other. I love it.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Exactly.
Well, this has been amazing. We're coming towards the end. I have one more question. I would love to know, since you have really made a name for yourself, do you find you obviously get kind of controversial message, but do you find that there is maybe an assumption that people have about you before you speak, and then you completely change that after they hear you speak?
So like in real life, like I mentioned, I don't look like the Christian Sexpert in real life. And so when I'm like meeting people, it's always super awkward because they're like, "Oh, what do you do?" Or, like I was at the library. My son had a homeschool class at the library a couple of weeks ago, and something came up, and I said, "Oh, I have to work." And they said, "Oh, what do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I own my own business." Because uh, people get weird, right? And I was hoping they were just going to let it go, and they kept pushing, like, "Well, I'm a sex and intimacy coach and an influencer."
Oh
And they
my
were
gosh.
like, "What? What?" Um, Thankfully, this person was like, "Oh, that's so needed." Right? But sometimes they get really weird about it and run away from me.
Yeah.
Actually, I had someone trying to proselytize to me in a coffee shop, um, for a specific faith that is different than mine, and I was like, "Oh, actually, I am a Christian. Here's my card." And they
Yeah.
looked at it and they were like, "Oh, okay, you have a great day," and ran away.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that kind of solves that problem for me because I could tell that they were going to be that kind. Um, but I don't get recognized in real life because I don't show up looking like the Christian Sexpert in my everyday life. So I
Yeah.
also don't have to worry about that. Um, but then, like, the couple of times I was recognized, like, at the conference, I was trying to find my hotel and where I was supposed to be, and this, like, attendee was like, "Oh my gosh, you're, like, speaking tomorrow, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And like, "Wait, you're the sex girl, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Is it a sin to masturbate?" And I'm like,
Oh my gosh, right?
Um, "Hi, my name's Angela. What's your name?" Um,
Just jump right
so,
into
like
it. You're like, oh.
yeah. So, like, maybe if you find out someone is a sex educator, don't just jump in with, like, super big questions, like, maybe give them your name first.
Oh my gosh.
Um, but then, like, people people either love what I do or hate what I do. I think a lot of people are surprised that I am sex positive because so many of the teachings in evangelical Christianity have been super toxic surrounding sex and marriage for so long.
Yeah.
Um, so people are often kind of pleasantly surprised that I am sex positive and all about consent and things like that, if they're looking for healthy messaging. Now, if they are still stuck in that more patriarchal sort of mindset, they get really offended. And there's no clear answer here. It's all complicated.
Yes. Well, something I try to hold myself to is I really try when I feel this feeling that I used to contribute to being uncomfortable is I'm actually incited and more intrigued. And when we first connected, I definitely was like, ooh, this is like a little uncomfortable, but it was more exciting. And it was like, okay, am I uncomfortable with this because I like talking about sex is not an easy thing to talk about? Or am I excited because this is something that I want to talk about and I want people to hear about? And also in my realm, I have an open book space in my door. Anyone can come in my spa and talk to me about anything. And I don't bat an eye. I don't blush. And it's funny for myself to be like, why did this maybe make me feel a little uncomfortable? Am I interested about it or this? And it definitely was more the side of interested. But it's as humans, it's like you can kind of hone in on that and be like, nope, I'm not comfortable with this. It's obviously something wrong. I'm going to block it off instead of being like, this is intriguing. There's something that's sparking an interest. Let's open up the door a little more.
Yeah, for sure. There definitely is some larger cultural issues with talking about sex and talking about sex in healthy ways. I
Yes.
mean, there's a whole discussion to be had about, purity culture, and purity culture is the flip side of the coin of pornography because all of it just commodifies female sexuality for male consumption. And so, like,
Yeah.
if you're talking about sex in really female positive ways, like that is really counterculture to the messaging that sex is for men and because women aren't supposed to enjoy sex.
Yeah.
And, like there's so many issues that contribute to women having that feeling of, I'm uncomfortable with this. But you did the important work of really sitting with the discomfort and figuring out why, because so many people will take that discomfort and lash out at me from their own insecurity with the topic instead of sitting with their discomfort and really understanding why they are uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you having this space for people and also just being that door where someone can ask you anything and you're going to honor it and give them a space to get that answer, as long as it's not hate. We don't
I
want that.
mean, look, as like putting on my content creator hat, engagement is engagement.
Yeah.
So, the algorithm doesn't care if you love me or hate me. Feel free to engage with my content if you hate me, because you're only driving up my engagement rates
Yeah.
and pushing my content further out into the algorithm. But also, like, I have taken hate comments and turned them into more content before. So go for it. I don't care.
Well, you're amazing. Oh, you're awesome. You're an amazing woman.
Thank you so much.
Well, I would love to know, and our listeners would love to know, if they want to connect with you, learn more about you, where can they find you, follow you, reach out to you?
I am the Christian Sexpert across all platforms, and my website is thechristiansexpert.com.
Perfect. And we'll have that all in our show notes below. And then one final question. I would love to know, in your day-to-day base, is there one ritual or routine that you cannot live without?
My coffee every day.
Amen. I love coffee. I'm a coffee gal, and I actually have to drink tea throughout the day because I will drink too much coffee. And my husband jokes that my baby, he'll say, "Did you give her more coffee, boob?" Because at night she will drink, and all of a sudden it's like, "Ah," and she's up for 2 hours. And I don't know if there's a connection to that, but I'm starting to think
100% is. Mine was sensitive to caffeine too.
Yeah. Well, apparently I have good boob milk caffeine, so it's a good one. Well, this was wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much for being a part of this space and for listening to today's episode of Beauty Talk Confessions. I wanted to take a moment and recognize our amazing sponsors, Prickly Bear, a desert-curated post-hair removal skincare line with pre- and post-care products created to support healthy skin beyond the treatment room, launching this summer. If this conversation resonated with you, make sure to follow the show and share it with someone in the beauty industry. Staying connected is how we grow, learn, and support each other. You can also follow us on Instagram at Beauty Talk Confessions and Prickly Bear for updates, behind the scenes, and more conversations like this. And if you have a moment, leaving a review helps this podcast reach more people who need this conversation too, and it would mean the world to me. This is Beauty Talk Confessions, and I'll see you next week.